In this episode of Rogue Agent Radio, beta code giveaways. Also, we discuss the story in The Division, and the 1911 pistol gets the spotlight in the gun review. So sit back, strap in, and prepare to enter the Dark Zone.
Rogue protocol initiated.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Rogue Agent Radio, Episode 10, a place for all things The Division. I'm one of your hosts, Boomslang. Joining me, as always, is the master of management, Deep Fried Dave. How's it going, Dave?
Oh, it's going awesome, man. Still recovering. Today is Friday after Thanksgiving. So yesterday, as a lot of Americans experience, was a day full of gluttony. So
I didn't hear everybody's stories.
Yeah, but I do all the cooking at my house. So Thanksgiving provides two of my favorite things together, which is smoking and cooking a lot of food and spreadsheets.
Is it deep fried?
Because I will make a spreadsheet for the cooking times of everything and that everybody is bringing to coordinate it, and so everybody keeps out of my kitchen.
We gotta get it just right. And finally, we have the rock star of gaming, Bless Doom. What's up, dude?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. Just trying to survive Black Friday. Back from, we actually didn't go out to any stores. We just happened to walk through one. I picked up a couple of things, but I made sure not to touch any physical money while I was out.
Yeah. I used physical money today. I'm in trouble. So.
Oh, man, that's where it starts.
You guys are going to have to, watch out, and I'm going to contaminate everybody. I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
With us is a very special guest, another guy who likes to do a couple of YouTube videos on that game there, The Division. Welcome, everybody, Robbie from Open World Games. How's it going,
Hello,
Robbie?
everyone.
Hello. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good.
Do you
Got
love
my
food?
Black Friday stuff out of the way, bought a ton of furniture.
So
that was my purchases.
That's a very interesting thing to buy on Black Friday. I don't think I've ever bought
Yeah.
furniture on Black Friday. Do they
It
have
worked.
Black Friday furniture
It was
sales?
cheap, which helped big time.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to hear about everybody's Thanksgivings. We normally do this and we talk about like what video games we're playing or whatever, but Thanksgiving is interesting. I want to hear, Robbie, what's Thanksgiving like at your place?
Went over to my family's with my bro Ryan, and we just celebrated and just ate and ate. And that's what we did.
That's pretty much, I feel like that's going to be everybody's
Yeah, that's
story.
the description for everyone.
We went to families and we ate and ate and ate.
Yes.
Anything
Yes.
special? Does your family cook any kind of special dinner?
We had
Whatever.
turkey, green
not
bean
special.
casserole.
Everybody has turkey.
Nothing out of the ordinary, just the good old typical Thanksgiving meal.
What about you, Doom? Do you have anything special for your Thanksgiving?
No, not really. We just went over to my fiance's parents' house and had the pretty standard food and hung out afterwards.
That's one way to do it. I mean, it's pretty normal. Well, you, Dave, give me something. You just said that you cooked.
I host Thanksgiving for my in-laws, for my wife's side of the family, and I'm not sure if they are listening to any of these podcasts, so I'm not going to say much more about that.
Yeah.
I did make 44 pounds of turkey, so I smoked a 22-pounder,
Wow.
roasted a 22-pounder.
That's a lot of bird.
And let's see, I survived. My wife has 3 sisters with husbands and kids, and we had about 6 toddlers running around all day. So nothing got broke.
Crazy.
Yeah, nothing got broke or injured. But it was a long day and watched a lot of football.
Yeah,
So
I did that too. Thanksgiving is pretty cool around here. My family, that's like one of our most favorite holidays out of all of them because we have a pretty big family. Everybody comes together. But something that's unique about it, we always go deer hunting in the morning. Like me, like all the boys in my family, my dad, my older brother.
I saw your photo out on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went out hunting and I came back and I was like, the woods were like dead silent. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. Well, I take that back. I did hear one deer running because I couldn't see him and he was like ran into the bushes or whatever. But then I started hearing tons of turkeys. And I was like, that's just like deer season That's all you hear is turkeys when you're hunting deer. It's like, good night. I walked out in the field. There they were. There was like 30 of them all strutting around and stuff. I actually walked up to them. I got within probably 25 yards of those things. I probably could have thrown my gun at them and killed them. That's how close I
They
got.
only knew the danger they were in.
They're not. Well, I mean, they know. They know it's not turkey season, so they're like, I don't care. Come on, bring it on. Whatever.
Maybe they were just confident because it was Thanksgiving and they thought, okay, everybody's already got their turkey.
That's probably a good point.
That's true.
What we need to do.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said in the prologue of this episode, we'll be giving away beta codes. Here's how it's going to work. I will say the letters and numbers in the code throughout the show. Once I've finished with the code, I'll let you know. And the trick is one of the numbers in the code will be left blank, and you'll have to guess what number it is. That way everyone has a chance. The numbers will always be 1 through 9. So there's not going to be 10, it's not going to be 12, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So be sure to write them down, chisel them into a stone tablet, whatever you want to do. Then go redeem them at, now stick with me, this is going to take a little while, Tom Clancy - The Division .ubi, which is uby.com/game /EN-US/beta.
Whoa.
If you have issues redeeming the code, Google, there's another link, but I was just say Google Tom Clancy The Division beta code redemption, and you can find everything. So
and, we'll also link that. We can link that on the webpage too.
Yeah, we'll link that in the post-show blog post and all that good stuff. So without further ado, here are the first 4 letters. P, V, C, J. Doom, what's that in military? P.
P is Papa.
V.
What is the next one?
V.
Is, oh crap.
Victor?
Victor?
Yeah, that's right. That's Victor.
I got it.
It's been a long time.
I know the next one. C is Charlie.
Yep.
And then what is J?
Juliet.
Juliet. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So
caught
Papa,
me off
Victor,
guard
Charlie, Juliet. First 4. Yeah. All right. So Rogue Agent Radio is your base of operations for the Division news, information, game discussions, and agent trust issues. You can find us on iTunes by searching Rogue Agent Radio, where we will post a show every Monday morning. So subscribe, rate, review, tell your friends, all that good stuff. Also check us out on our official website, RogueAgentRadio.com, where you can find the links to all our podcasting wares and social media hubs, such as Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff. So let's begin episode 10 with a quick interview of Robbie. Here we go. So, Robbie, who are you and what do you do?
So I am Robbie with Open World Games, and that's what I do. I just focus on open world games on YouTube. I create a ton of videos about the Division. I'm covering Ghost Recon Wildlands right now. I'm going through Fallout 4, doing weapon reviews, and just a ton more. So that's what I do.
How did you get started in YouTube making videos?
Gosh, that's a good question. So basically one day I was sitting there and I was looking at, Battlefield footage, and I was typing in Battlefield 4, gameplay, Level Cap would pop up. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so he's like the Battlefield guy. And I'm like, well, there's got to be an exclusive Assassin's Creed channel. There's got to be something dedicated to open world games because that's something I absolutely love.
Right.
So I go searching for an open world games channel. I see nothing at all. And I'm like just blown away that no one has an open world games channel. So I'm like, I'm going to create one. I'll just try creating one. What the hell? Why not?
When a light bulb went off. Ding. I know
yeah,
what to do.
exactly. I knew it was a pretty good idea, so I just went with it and I tried it. So I started with, I believe it was Watch Dogs, early 2014. That's when I really got serious with it. I was already sitting on 10,000 to 15,000 subscribers because the channel used to be called Best of Video Games.
Right.
So I was focused on Battlefield 4, and then I transitioned over into open world games. And as you know, I do run Star Wars HQ.
Yeah.
So I had extra time. I was running Star Wars HQ, and I'm like, I have to do something else beyond Star Wars HQ. So I just started up open world games, and it's just really taken off. So
yeah,
people are enjoying it, it seems.
Yeah, I think your channel is one of the really good ones for
thank you.
For all of open world games and all of those things and stuff. I like how your videos are more like, they're conversational, but yet very informative and stuff. A lot of people, they're very structured, straightforward. This is how they do it every single time. But yours are they're relaxing and fun to watch.
Crying over here.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of your Fallout videos. Lately.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Seriously, thank you. That is awesome to hear. Yeah, I work hard on them, like the top 10 settlements video. I don't know if you guys caught that. That's not something that you just make. It takes a while to make. So
Right. Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
great to hear
man.
the compliments.
Yeah, it's crazy how much work goes into a YouTube video. A lot of people are like, I can make a YouTube video. No, that's not hard. And then I got into it and I was like, oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
gotta like sit back
exactly.
and reevaluate this. I mean, there is a lot of work that goes into it.
It's crazy. Yeah, most of my time is not video gaming. It's video editing.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, getting started, I mean, you're probably a lot better at it and you have a lot better equipment, but like a 4 or 5 minute long video, it can take me upwards of 2 hours just to get it. And that's, I mean, it's a lot of work. So I appreciate all the effort and work that you put into your channel
thanks,
and how
man.
quality it is. So like,
Yeah.
what about the Division are you most excited about? I mean, I know it's an open world game, but
Well, it's one of the first games where I've heard where you can go straight from co-op into PvP like
Mhm.
that. So I was like, that's what I've always wanted. And it looks gorgeous. I know that there's, been the whole downgrade discussion, but I still think it looks really, really good. It
Yeah.
reminds me of the Witcher 3 downgrade. No matter what, at the end of the day, the Witcher 3 is a gorgeous
it's an
game.
absolutely gorgeous game. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole thing that interests me about the Division is being able to take co-op and just jump into PvP at any time. That was like a light bulb. I was like, holy cow,
Yeah.
this is going to be really cool. And hopefully it works when it actually comes out. So,
Right. So you like playing
Really-
co-op games with people?
yes, definitely.
Sweet. But you,
So
Dave,
what,
do you have any questions for? Yeah.
Well, yeah. What games? You say you don't have much time to game, and looks like you're playing Fallout a lot right now. Do you find it hard to juggle between games? Like, how do you do that? If you're making several videos.
That's a really, really good question. Like with the Fallout stuff that I do with Fallout 4, I focus primarily on video making. Like if I sit down and play that game, it's like, okay, this is going to be dedicated to video making right now. Now, Star Wars Battlefront is one of those games where you could hop in and play for an hour and just have a blast.
Yeah. It's
So
very casual.
that game right now, Star Wars Battlefront, I'm totally addicted to. And I know that it's really weird that game hasn't been really well received,
Yeah.
by a
it's
lot of
kinda
people, but
strange.
it's one of the best-selling EA titles ever
Yeah.
already, which is crazy, and best-selling Star Wars game. But yeah, that's what I'm playing right now. Mainly is Star Wars Battlefront, and then a little bit of Fallout 4.
We need to get in Star Wars together. I
come
I see
on.
you on. I invited you to my chat parties, and you're like,
Seriously,
playing by myself.
I have notifications turned off.
Oh,
because of
okay.
recording. I'm
Maybe
sorry.
Maybe I should like message you or something on Skype or text you or something. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
got to get better at that.
Yeah. So, Dave, you have any more questions for him or Doom before we move on?
Well, mine was a Division related, so I'll probably work it in while we're talking a little bit. But
Okay.
it comes back to the whole melee question.
Okay.
We have
Well,
heard
yeah.
rumors that there could be melee.
Go ahead and throw it in
like
right
the-
now. We can talk.
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. Well, we were kind of texting or Twittering a little back and forth on this topic, but wanted to get your thoughts on it, since we seem to ask this to everyone
Should
about
it
them
be in the
taking
game?
it out. Right? Should it be in the game? And
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, I think melee should definitely be in the game. Like they should even consider doing something like The Last of Us. You have your melee weapon that can be upgraded sort of in The Last of Us. I would love to see that system completely fleshed out for the Division, where you're going and you're upgrading a melee weapon. I think it would make a ton of sense in the Division. I just don't understand why it's not in there.
What kind of
Because
melee weapon
every
would you
game
want?
has melee. Destiny even has melee. Call of Duty, Battlefront. The new
Yeah.
Battlefront has melee. So
Yeah, like it doesn't even have to be like a fully fleshed out melee weapon tree or anything. It could just, like you're saying, hit him with the
Right.
butt of your gun. I don't want to walk up to
Yeah.
you and.
but why
get
not go
off me.
all out?
Yeah,
Come on.
I want a baseball bat with nails through it.
Yes. I want to pull out something that's like on fire that was in the back of my pocket. No, I'm kidding.
Baseball bat with a Molotov on the end of it.
Yeah, they could get wacky with it if they're not careful. So.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think they're probably gonna stick pretty realistic with that name, Tom Clancy.
Just pushing each other.
Yeah. No, well, no. I mean, with melee, I don't think there's gonna be baseball bats and pipes and things like in The Last of Us. Even though that would be pretty cool, and it would still stay realistic. But I think they're going to say they're trained agents. They have guns. They don't need to hit people with swords and
That would be a
maces.
little silly.
I could see enemies having stuff like that, maybe. But,
Yeah, that would be much more realistic. I think if they had if you had a combat knife or you had, a bayonet on your gun that did more damage or something like that,
that would be cool.
Then I could see that being in the game more than anything else.
Now, that would be cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's transition into the news of the week. Information Annex number 8 dropped this week. Very interesting news. And if you want to read the annex for yourself, you can find the link to it in the show notes over at RogueAgentRadio.com. We'll post those after the show goes live. So what did you guys take away from this this information annex? What about you, Dave? What did you think?
Well, the thing that I'm most excited about is, they dug into, I think we'll probably go over it in a little more detail, but the talents and even some further on the skills. Because my concern, when they released the last video and they showed the menu for the skills the first time, they showed the 12 skills and the 3 mods. And they didn't show us talents and perks. But my concern there was, am I really going to be able to get to the point to customize the role my character wants to play? If I'm going to play the support healer role, I was a little concerned that I wasn't going to be able to have that many changes to make it unique. You saw all the differences in weapons and gear, but I think the example I used specifically in that episode was, and I can't remember if it was a turret, but it might have been. But if I only have it, if you look at the different roles in DPS and tank and healer on the skills menu, it seemed like there was 4 catered to each of those roles, right? And my concern was that those were the only skills that you could use against that. But as what they've shown, the first thing they show is the modifications for the turret. And what do you know? One of those modifications will make it a support class turret. Yeah. Which is what I was really hoping for, is that they would use the modifications to bring some of those skills, valuable across all of the roles. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that.
Instead of one skill being like, this is DPS only. And that's all it's ever going to be for. But now it has this can be DPS or it can be DPS / support, a little bit of support, kind of blend them a little bit better like that. Yeah, it's really exciting to see. We're going to be referencing the condensed version of this annex put together by Joker Unique over at division-agents.com. You guys can go check out his post over there.
Joker.
And the first thing that they talked about in the annex was the Dark Zone rank, which we kind of, we knew that there was a rank, but we didn't know what it did exactly. So and this one is really cool. I like the fact that they separated the Dark Zone rank and your XP from the PvE rank and level and things. Robbie, what do you think about the Dark Zone rank?
I think it's really cool. Like you said, it separates it and it makes it so that PvP players have something that they are absolutely 100% dedicated to.
Yeah.
And then you have your co-op overall XP. Now, that is my question. Is there going to be like your overall XP, then your PvP Dark Zone XP, and then on top of it, a co-op XP? I mean...
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, how... Is it completely separate, or does the PvE experience carry over into, how are you going to progress in your level and everything if you're in the Dark Zone? Do you think it's going to...
Yeah, because Destiny did something similar at first. They had your Vanguard strikes, and then your Crucible strikes. And didn't they end up merging them, sort of?
Yeah, they're merged now, but, you still would gain XP, general XP. So I would say you probably still gain your general XP in the Dark Zone by just killing people. That's what I would say.
What's really weird about the Dark Zone ranks is being a rogue agent is really what it's about in the Dark Zone. To really rank up, from what I understand. And to really progress through the Dark Zone, you have to be a rogue agent, because Dark Zone vendors are tied to your Dark Zone rank.
Yeah.
And it goes up and down, it ebbs and flows. So the better you do as a rogue agent, the more you get, the more rare items and access to rare vendors. So
Right.
it seems like they are wanting anyone stepping into the dark zone to be a rogue agent.
Yeah, I
At least
wasn't
from
sure
what
if
I'm
it.
gathering.
I wasn't sure if it was saying that you had to be rogue because they were saying that you would lose
Okay.
more XP as you became like. See right here, we'll go ahead and read out some of his bullet points, and then we
Okay.
can figure out from there. It says, number one, detached from the regular level experience, the Dark Zone experience is more as a rank system rather than a level. Number two, with a higher rank, you will gain access to superior equipment and crafting recipes at specific vendors. And that thing right there that stands out to me, crafting recipes.
Right.
Crafting is still in this game. They haven't said anything. I want to know what it's about.
I know they have not shown much on crafting at all.
I know, it's so annoying. Okay, number
What
three.
does that mean?
The Dark Zone rank will also be a requirement to access the high-value crates in the Dark Zone. Very interesting.
Okay.
Number four, unique to this experience type, you can also increase or also decrease in rank if you end up dying in the Dark Zone. And number five, this is what is kind of the clincher. Going rogue certainly has its risk. You will lose even more Dark Zone experience based on your rogue status.
Okay, so it's not 100% based on rogue agents. It seems like, is it more mission structure then? Dark Zone missions and that sort of thing?
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. What if it's going rogue but not dying while you're rogue and completing it and
But I've
collecting
heard
your
that
own
going
bounty?
rogue. Yeah, I've also heard that you can collect your own bounty if you survive as a rogue agent.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's XP or if that's
Dark Zone.
What
And
if
that's just I thought that was just the Dark Zone currency that you
Yeah.
collect.
maybe
Okay.
Yeah.
is that
So-
what the bounty is placed on your head?
Yeah. So
Okay.
what it seems like to me is this is the you know how they said that there's going to be an incentive to not go rogue.
Right.
So if you play nice, if you go in and you cooperate with all of the other agents and do all that stuff, your rank seems to go up. But if you want to go rogue, you lose that rank, but you don't really need it because you're just stealing high level gear from other agents who have that rank and have gotten that gear.
right.
Okay.
That's the
an
way it
interesting
seems
system.
to me. Yeah.
It almost reminds me of Dark Souls in a way. They almost sound like they wanted to create a little sectioned off area of the game where you have to take a lot of risk in some way. You can lose your Dark Zone currency, that sort of thing. So
yeah. I kind of
that's
like
what it
that,
sort of
though.
reminds me of.
It's kind of cool to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love
think,
Dark Souls.
I think what's interesting though is they don't mention too many ways how you get your rank increased. They mention more ways on how it decreases.
Right.
So dying will decrease your rank. Dying if you're rogue decreases it even more.
Yeah.
So the thing I like is that it really makes it more competitive because it's going to reward. So if your rank you need a high rank to unlock high things. You need a higher rank to do, to fully take advantage of the epic things that are in the Dark Zone. You either have to be skilled by yourself, right? So you don't die and you're taking out people, or you have to be in a good team and have teamwork. So it really seems to reward the players that do well, because there's always this battle of, hey, I'm level so-and-so, I should be getting the better gear. I put more time into it, which is a valid argument. But I think this kind of helps satisfy that argument that if you do have teamwork and you are skilled, you're going to get rewarded for it in a PvP enabled area.
Yeah, I think it's going to foster a competitive atmosphere by doing this.
Yeah.
So, next 4 beta code digits. C blank ET. So that's Charlie blank Echo Tango. So the blank is going to be a number 1 through 9. So
Gotta love
down.
military lingo.
Yeah. The next thing talked about were skills and skill mods, which we kind of talked about this a little bit before. So we'll briefly touch on this. It says we got information about the skills in the last community Q&A, and now we have also information on how we can unlock them. Based on this annex, some skills are available immediately, but some, if not most, have to be unlocked. In contrary to most games, the unlock mechanism is not tied to character level, but to the mission progression. As you complete the missions of the game, the skills will become available and help you adapt more and more to dangerous enemies and situations.
Eh.
Skill modifications work exactly the same as you complete missions and things. What do you guys think about this?
Really, I
well-
sort of somehow missed that. Was that for skills and perks? Because perks, is that really how it works? Like, it's not tied to leveling? I'm sort of like confused.
Skill. Well,
I find that a little bit
I think.
disappointing that it's
I'm-
tied to story. I don't know what to
I'm-
think of that.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I think everything is tied to mission progression. Now, here's the thing: if
Okay.
it's main story mission, I'm gonna be disappointed.
That's my question.
You know, if it's
What is a
tied-
mission?
Yeah. Now, if it's tied to quest lines, that would be kind of cool because you could be like, okay, I want this skill. Where do I get it? You know, and
Right.
someone that will foster
That's true. Now,
community
that's true.
conversation, and everything's like, oh well, the turret is on this side of New York, and go do this quest and kill this person, and then you find the turret or whatever. I think that would be kind of cool. Because Destiny is kind of like that right now, with certain quests rewarding you with doing things, you know, like doing the sword quest, you have to go do all this other stuff, and you get the exotic sword quest, you have to go and do certain missions, and then you get it. It's a very rewarding
That is
feeling.
cool. I see what you're saying there, and it does say here that it is tied to your mission progression. I always thought that it was something where you leveled up and then you were given the option
Yeah.
to invest points. I think that I would hope that there would be something like that. Of course,
Yeah.
I would think that there would be. But for the perks, it does go on to mention that it's definitely tied to missions.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what is the difference between the perks and the talents? Because they sound very similar, almost like perks are these milestone.
Yeah. I think we're gonna move
Go
into
over that
that.
later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got
Okay.
that to go over too.
I have
Real-
so many questions.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is the beefiest drop of information that we've gotten in since
Yeah.
E3, I think. In
Yes.
just short little annex. So, anyways, to sum up the skills and skill modifications, complete missions. Now, before we move on, I'm curious: do you think it's all skills, or do you think only some skills?
I hope that it's like in some previous MMOs or RPGs, it doesn't do all skills. And I think, you know, if you compare it to what we know today, Destiny. So what I hope it does, because I don't want it to be tied to my campaign. I want to do my campaign at my own pace.
Right.
You know, I don't want to have to play the whole campaign to unlock the last skill that I'm looking for to complete
Right.
my in-game
Exactly.
character. That's a whole different thing. So, and Robbie had a great point. I think I've watched all the videos in this, but you'd mentioned that siege, you know, kind of looking the activity in there called the siege, you know, so it almost looked like a strike type of thing.
Yes.
So I would hope that those types of activities, you get more XP, much more XP than you would your normal shooting a guy. So then that makes more sense. The more missions you play, that's a mission. But like in Elder Scrolls, you whatever abilities you have equipped, similar to on Destiny, whatever weapons and gear you have equipped, when you complete something and get that XP, that's where it goes to. So say you have these 2 skills that you can slot, 2 skills slotted, whatever XP you get during that time only goes to those 2 skills slotted.
Right.
That's how like it would equate to some of the things that I'm familiar with. But then the missions would give you that big boost.
Yeah.
Because like in MMOs, before you turn in a quest, you would like switch your skills around and activate two different ones that you wanted to upgrade, so that when you put it in, it put all those XP to the new skills.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Mhm.
The last thing about the skills that I thought was really cool, each skill you have equipped is going to be visible in some way on your agent. So if you see another guy in the dark zone or wandering around in your squad and you look at him, you're going to be able to tell, oh, he's got the Seeker Mine equipped. He's got the Sticky Bomb equipped. Somehow it's going to show itself on your
Okay, that's
agent,
really
which
cool.
I think is really cool. Yeah. So at the end of it, they were like, so you have the choice. You can either choose to pick your skills based on function or looks. I was like, that is awesome. They really are dedicated to letting you customize your agent to look however you want it to. And
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
I really
That's
like that idea because even in real world, combat situations, if you're going out and you're scouting out, potential enemies or, troops out in the open, that's some of the information that you send back. You're like, there's this many guys and this is what they have on them.
Right.
So
That's
if you want
true.
to engage.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That would be so cool to be a sniper in the division and being able to identify those little objects on a person and to know what type of equipment they have. I didn't even think of that. That's cool.
It's gonna be badass, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. That would give a scout a whole purpose in the game. You're like, okay, I see
That would be awesome.
I see 3 guys across this, open area. One guy's got this, one guy's got that. So how are we going to take on these guys? I was like, all right, well, I'm going
They
to
all
switch
have
to this
seeker
skill.
minds.
Yeah, they all have seeker minds. It's like, okay, well, everybody needs to get more armor or whatever. So it's going to be really cool. The next thing they talked about had to do with talents. And this is the first time that we had seen anything. Joker says, the talents were a big mystery until now because we had no information at all what they were about. How do they impact the gameplay and how do they work? Now we have at least one example, an example how we can unlock them. Number 1, talents allow you to take that extra step needed to towards specializing your play style. Number 2, similar to skill modifications, talents are unlocked through your mission progress. Number 3, when you have unlocked every one of them, you can select and freely swap between them to explore a variety of options. Now, I'm sure you'll be able to swap between them without having to unlock them. Basically, talents... okay, he has an example right here. One of the talents was called Precision. And the bonuses that it gave you, the cool thing about the talents, they are activated on you performing a certain thing. Like this one, Precision, is activated when you headshot a target at full health. So if you're shooting at a guy and he's got full health, you hit him in the head, this talent's going to activate, and then from then on, for the next 10 seconds, you're going to do plus 25% headshot damage. It's pretty sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what if you groin shot someone? Do you get like 50%? Or like
Groin
30
shot.
seconds? I mean, come on, man. That's how
You
it's
got
work.
plus 50% to stun, I don't
They
know.
end up in a fetal position.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that does bring up an interesting. There is like a stun mechanism or a stun or suppress mechanism. That's because
really?
in some of the videos that I've done, like if you, like even in one of the videos, I think it was in the last Q&A, you see him shooting at someone and you'll see the word suppressed pop up over their head. It also happened in the E3 demo, 2015.
Oh, do
demo.
we even know what that means? Is like someone's screen shaking or?
I don't know. I mean, it popped over the AI enemy's head where it just said
it was one of the
suppressed.
things I loved about Battlefield 3. They sort of removed that from the Battlefield games. You can get up on a hill, use a light machine gun, and the light machine gun was the only thing that could suppress someone. And what would happen is, the screen would start shaking, it would get all blurry. I actually like that.
Yeah,
I thought that
it's
was
realistic. So, I mean, that's just a little, tidbit. I don't have any information on it exactly, but I like the way that these talents work because you have your skills and they're all kind of geared towards the roles tank, DPS, healer, or support. And then you're going to have your talents, which it's just like slapping another layer on top of those things, being able to, like, this one is definitely a DPS talent, being able to do, buff your headshot damage by 25%.
Right.
So you get a DMR and you start hitting people in the head and then boom, you're doing like, a quarter more, whatever percentage, all the numbers and stuff, more damage to the headshots. What do you think about that, Doom? How do you like these talents?
I like the idea of them. What it seems like to me, it seems kind of like the different perks that you get on weapons in Destiny, where you can kind of switch them around.
Yeah.
And once you unlock them, then you can put it on, increase, whatever, and like if you perform a certain action, then it activates it, and then whatever. So it just seems like now it's just on your character.
Right.
What I'd like to see, because we still don't know exactly how these unlock, right? Like if it's just XP based, or if it's more of that mission stuff.
Let's see, unlocked through your
Only
mission
if it's-
progress. Yeah.
That's
What's unlocked through your mission progression. So I'm gonna say some of them are and some of them aren't. I don't know exactly.
What I'd kind of like to see is that these things get unlocked by performing that specific action. Like if you do that specific action so many times, then you gain that experience from doing that.
That'd be pretty
so
cool.
that it makes you play in all these different methods to unlock these specific
that's a great
talents.
idea.
You actually develop that talent.
That's
Oh,
kinda
that sounds like
cool.
Skyrim.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
I love that about Skyrim. So if you use like your melee weapons or swords, you upgrade that tree, right? So, yeah, that would be cool. I would love
Yep.
to see that. Something that would fit perfectly in the Division, I think.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of hoping that that's what some of this stuff means, or
Okay.
by accomplishing these specific missions, through doing those missions, you learn these different skills and talents and everything.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm hoping that means.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Next thing I talked about were perks. So far, we have no visual confirmation on how perks look, but at least we have a description of how to unlock them and what they do, says Joker. Number 1, once unlocked, perks are active and do not need to be triggered in any way. Number 2, they can affect the number of items you carry. Number 3, they give you the option for additional crafting materials. And number 4, unlocking all the perks is directly tied to your mission progress as well. Basically, you unlock these and it stays unlocked. It's like if you go from level 9 to level 10, you're now level 10, and you will always have been level 10. You always have unlocked that.
Okay.
I don't know if that's kind of a bad way of describing
And they're
it, but that's
passive,
the only
right?
thing I could think of.
They're
So,
like completely passive though. They're
Yes.
constantly
Right.
gone.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
These
the
really
difference
do.
is-
Yeah.
So I'm seeing the difference here really fast between perks and talents is talents have to be activated by doing a certain action and perks do not.
Right, and you can have
So
up to
there's-
4 different talents equipped if their menus in the game are correct. Because I looked at when they have a little talents screenshot, and down at the bottom it says 1 of 4 equipped. So
That's a lot.
yeah,
I thought it was just going to be 1. Okay, cool.
yeah. So well, I don't know what the other ones are gonna do, but you could say like 1 is gonna be geared more towards healing. I don't know exactly how it would work.
Yeah, I can already tell
you.
you're right about that because I see healing icon. I see something that looks like better blast resistance against grenades.
Yeah, I need to look more at those and just kind of get an idea of what they could be. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's gonna be interesting.
I
I
hope
bet
that they
there's one that
do.
even reduces your spawn time. There's something that looks like that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So when you die in the dark zone, maybe that's possible where you could reduce your spawn time as a rogue agent. Because as I remember, as a rogue agent, if you die, your spawn time is increased.
yeah,
So it would be nice to have something that's tailored to that to reduce that spawn time if you wanted.
hmm What were you saying, Dave?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's with the perks. I hope that, because if you look at the skills and talents, you still, even though you unlock them, through mission XP or whatever, you still have to buy them with ability points,
Yeah.
right? So there's a cost associated with them. So you can see in the intelligence annex, it has 2 available ability points. So I don't know how that works,
Okay.
whether you have to use how you get them, but say you have 5, now you can distribute those through your skills and abilities. And I hope they do the same thing with perks, because in the games I played before in the past, I think Skyrim may have been this way, but MMOs in general, like the passive ones, you could pick which ones you wanted and you had to spend a point on it. So say you wanted to be a crafting master crafter, like in Elder Scrolls, that you would have to spend a point on this passive perk that let you craft level 4 armor, and then another one for level 5 armor. Or say, you wanted to carry more items, then you could do it, spend 1 point to carry this many items. You still had to be so much XP to unlock the ability to buy it. So I like that because it just makes it a little harder than the choices you make. You just can't select
Right.
all of them. You have to pick a few here and there that really cater to create your build. So
Definitely. Yeah, this information annex gave us a lot of new information. I can't wait
Yeah.
to see what else they start rolling out over here in the next couple weeks or whatever. Time for more beta code numbers. How about O, A, X, C? What's O? Dude.
Oscar.
Alpha, Xerxes, Charlie. I don't know. What is X?
X is X-ray.
X-ray. So So it's Oscar, Alpha, X-Ray, Charlie, and that is the final digits or whatever for the first beta code. So go enter your code and start playing the Division whenever the beta launches at that website. Go and check the show notes, RogueAgentRadio.com. Time for listener mail. Lincoln 117 Echo, member of DoD Bushido. Congrats on the success of the show. My question is, what type of in-game content do you expect to see from the Division? This may very well be the game that takes me away from Destiny. Thanks, guys. It's DoD guy.
Yeah, Dad's a Destiny. Shout
What's
out.
up?
He was Bushido's. He's legendary. He's the year one guy. I think that clan formed before the game came out.
Sweet.
So yeah.
Wow.
We talked about in-game in one of our episodes before. If you want to get a more in-depth idea about it, I think it's episode 6? I can't believe we've done 10 episodes. This is awesome. It's really fun. Anyway, yeah, we did that. We debated our whole ideas over like raids and strikes and things. I believe there's going to be some sort of raid end-game content. Since we've all kind of given our ideas on what we think it is, what do you think in-game content is going to consist of, Robbie?
Oh boy.
Put you on the spot.
I know. Well, I think it's going to be more tied to the Dark Zone, honestly, to those higher rank Dark Zone vendors, because your rank is always going to be fluctuating when you're in the Dark Zone.
Right.
So I think they're going to make that addicting. I think they're going to want you to come back to the Dark Zone because of that fluctuating rank. So I really think it's going to be tied to any gear that's tied to the high level vendors that you have to gain access to. So
that's a very good point. I have never really put that together.
So I think that's where the end game is going to be, in the Dark Zone.
Interesting. I hope they put raids in, because I think Dark Zone would be cool, but I want there to be raids as well. You're breaking my heart, Robbie. You're breaking my heart.
Content.
Do what? Oh, yeah. Well, the one article that we have from 2013, I think it was. I mean, I'm sure a lot has changed. Yeah. Someone interviewed Ryan Bernard, and he said that there was going to be in-game, what did I say, in-game plus or
group plus?
Group plus game with activities of up to 8 players.
Yes, I do remember that. That was actually on their blog.
Yeah. So
on their official Ubi blog.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So whether that's still the same or whether it's changed or not, and how it's either it's 4 versus 4 or if it's 4 with 4, we kind of ran off with the idea that it's 4 with 4 going after the same objective. So
that's what it sounded like to me, like a group of 8.
I hope that's what it is.
I'm not too sure if they'll be able to keep that feature in.
Yeah, I want them to. Please.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't
of course.
Take it out. Please don't take it. I'm gonna cry. So yeah, if you want to hear more in depth on that, go listen to episode 6, because we are going to talk about the story in topic of the week. Before we get started with the story, which is the topic of the week, which is the story, we have the first 4 digits of code number 2, Q7XT. So, what is Q, Doom?
Quebec.
7 X-ray Tango. First 4 of the second code. Write them down. Before we dive into the meat of what this story is based on, we have a question from Cherno, which I think is Wolf of Cherno. He's been a big Division fan. He's on Facebook, on Twitter, all over the place. You can send in a question as well by writing us at RogueAgentRadio@gmail.com. I forgot to mention at the listener mail part, but whatever. He says, "Hey, Rogue Agent Radio, Cherno here. Wanted to ask a question on the Division story, mainly the start of the game. Do you guys think the beginning of the game will be somewhat like Fallout 4 or The Last of Us, where it takes place before the virus, or do you think they will drop us directly into the chaos? Thanks, Cherno or Evan." What do you guys think?
That's a good question.
I always hoped that they would do it. Sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead, dude.
I think it'll probably be some sort of cinematic, just kind of showing us what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just like an intro cutscene.
Yeah.
I mean, they make it sound like the apocalypse has not happened completely, though. It's like mid-crisis New York City, so you're still going through it. So I mean, it's a multiplayer game. I would imagine they wouldn't want a tutorial phase to be too long. So maybe it could be that they have like a 20-minute tutorial phase, which I think would actually be good so that
Yeah.
people are forced to recognize the mechanics and get used to the game a little bit before jumping into PvP and that sort of thing.
Right. But I
So-
think the idea of doing an intro mission like The Last of Us would help basically let people know what this world is like, that it's dire, things are dying,
Your daughter dies.
your daughter dies. Spoiler alert.
Horrible death. God, no.
Anyways,
Yes,
if you
yeah,
haven't played
but-
The Last of Us, you're living your life wrong. But
Yeah. So like you, so you're just a normal, sleeper agent in the world doing sleeper agent stuff,
yeah,
and the whole thing happens. The
Mhm.
whole viral outbreak happens, and then you see yourself get activated.
yeah,
Like you get the call, you get activated, and then
right.
you
And then
jump
it says
into the
like
whole thing.
3 weeks later or something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
It teaches you how to interact with things, like you're walking around in your apartment. Press A to pick up apple. Press B to crouch and
Flower
walk under
the
this
garden,
branch.
water the
Water
garden.
the garden. Yeah. I would want it to start out like The Last of Us, but honestly, I don't know. It could go
Yeah.
either way. So there's really no good yes or no answer.
Yeah.
But I want it to be like The Last of Us. So anyways, the first source for this topic comes from Wikipedia. And you can find all of these links and everything in the post show notes over on RogueAgentRadio.com, where's the blog post. Operation Dark Winter is what this game is based off of. I'm going to go ahead and read this source. The next source is from... Oh, wait, hold on. I had something in here. Where did it go? Where'd it go?
It's missing.
It's missing. Oh, no. There
I
was...
hate when it happens.
I
Yeah.
deleted it.
You deleted it? You son of a... Anyways, okay. First source, like I said, Wikipedia. In the game, a pandemic that spreads on Black Friday causes the United States government to collapse in 5 days. Basic services fail one by one, and without access to food or water, the country quickly descends into chaos. In the wake of the devastating pandemic that sweeps cities across the city, including New York City, this is discovered... Wait. You put this in here. You just did this. You messed me all up.
I didn't do anything.
I'm just kidding. Including New York City, it is discovered that the spread of the disease is transmitted through germs on banknotes as a last resort. This is part of the division. This isn't based off of Dark Winter. Maybe I'll put that in there. Okay, this is not from Wikipedia. This is from the website or the story of the game. This is what the story. This is not Dark Winter. The game is based off Dark Winter. My apologies. Anyways, you as a last resort, the player is part of a classified unit or self-supported tactical agents known as Strategic Homeland Division, or the Division for short. Leading seemingly ordinary lives, SHD agents are trained to operate independently of command. When all else fails, this group is established to combat the threat brought about by the outbreak and are given direct authority by the President of the United States to do whatever it takes to prevent the fall of society and piece the city back together. All right.
Oh, yeah.
It's a mouthful. Now, the story is based off of the real-world simulation called Operation Dark Winter. Yeah, I messed it up on the beginning. But yeah, this is what Operation Dark Winter is. Now, this is going to be a lot of reading, but it's historical, so pay attention, kids. Operation Dark Winter was the code name for a senior-level bioterrorist attack simulation conducted from June 22nd to the 23rd in 2001. It was designed to carry out a mock version of a covert, widespread smallpox attack on the United States. Now, note, we don't know what the virus is in the division. We don't know if it's
Right.
smallpox. I'm just saying that this is what this simulation was based off of. Dark Winter was focused on evaluating the inadequacies of a national emergency response during the use of a biological weapon against the American populace. The exercise was solely intended to establish preventative measures and response strategies by increasing governmental and public awareness of the magnitude and potential of such threat posed by biological weapons. So I think this game has a lot to go off of because of this whole simulation, and it's really interesting, like you can take this base of a story and then do whatever you want and say, like, this happens, you know?
Yeah. And do you remember the little books we were given at E3 that had some more story details in there?
Yeah.
It sounds like the president and the administration are trying to cover this up. They're making it sound like New York City is okay, everything's going to be fine. And as an agent, I'm very curious to see if that's why there's rogue agents. Like rogue agents are no longer wanting to associate with the administration because they're trying to cover it up. They're getting pissed off.
Right.
So I'm really curious to see what they do with this story.
Yeah, I was trying to find that little book so I could read excerpts from it. But yeah, there's a whole book that they're publishing coming out on the same day as this game that is basically someone's take on this, but then they're saying things about it. And in the newspaper too, like the little newspaper thing that they gave us. I think they said some of that stuff in there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. Dark Winter's simulated scenario involved an initial localized smallpox attack on Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, with additional smallpox cases in Georgia and Pennsylvania. The simulation was then designed to spiral out of control. This would create a contingency in which the National Security Council struggles to determine both the origin of the attack as well as deal with the